Definitely getting a quicker next time.
and gentlemen, children of all ages, please gather round for a momentous occasion. Today, we are honored and thrilled to have here speak to us for the second time in 7 years, the Honorable Justice Stephen Breyer. As I'm sure you all know, he not only is a resident of Cambridge, Mass., but he's also a resident of Plainfield, New Hampshire. So, with nothing further, I give you the podium, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. Gotta turn it up.
Well, a lot of people like that they can.
I was worried that's what happened.
All right, I'll try it now. Can you hear me now? Sort of. Closer? How's that? Okay, good, good. Happy 4th of July. Nice to be here. Great. The weather is nice. The parade was fabulous. The chocolate milk was good. My granddaughter absolutely swears to that. And it's just nice to see everybody. And if it hadn't been for the 4th of July, who knows where we'd be? It wouldn't be as nice. And so we're glad to be here. And I'm going to read you the Declaration of Independence.
There wasn't any rain,
It says here, it was the Second Continental Congress that set this out on July 4th, 1776. It's a unanimous declaration of the 13th United States of America. So here we are, right in the heart of it. What did it say? It's pretty long. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to this separation. Now, next one is Jefferson's line, and it made him famous. So much what the political part or the government part of this country is such a great line. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That is the theory. And when I was on the court, I'd see that theory in operation every day. Didn't always work perfectly. We tried to help. Okay. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having a direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to the candid world. He is supposed to be the king, not this present king, but he has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation until his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records. That's like Washington, D.C., don't say anything. For the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures, he has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasion on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and compulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judicial powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their office, the payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent their swarms of officers to harass our people who need out their substances. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He's combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial and punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of the state, for cutting off our trade to all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond the seas to be tried for intended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in neighboring provinces, establishing their arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries, express to render it all at once an example of the instrument of using the same absolute. We're taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislators and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun, with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country and become executioners of their friends and brethren. He has excited domestic insurrections among us. He has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontier Indians, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. In other words, he was quite a baddie. Nor have we been wanting attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kingdom to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in general, Congress, assemble, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states they have right to. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor.
Yes.
Happy 4th of July. We're all very, very, very glad that we're here.